Living presents Taste and See. The story for today: Sowing and Reaping.
Let me tell you what God did for us after we started honoring Him with our finances. My wife and I started coming to the Ottawa Adventist Church a little over 30 years ago. At that time, we weren't paying tithe. Shortly after we came, our pastor preached a sermon on stewardship, which convicted me. At that time, I was working as an emergency room physician in Chattanooga, and I was paid once a month. The next month, when my check came, I wrote a check for exactly 10%. As I was sitting in church, watching the offering plate come back to where I was, the devil and Jesus argued over that check. The devil kept saying, "You can make payments on a nice rental property for this." Jesus said, "Just do what I told you to do." When I dropped the check into the plate, a weight that I didn't even know existed lifted off my heart. Rapidly, we settled into doing tithe plus 10%, and we did that for a number of years. And one day, my friend Howard Scoggins dropped by my office. One of the things, he was at that time working for the publishing work in Russia, and one of the things he was doing was raising money for a printing press for there. So I asked him, "Howard, how soon do you have to have the money?" And he said, "I got 6 months." I said, "I tell you what, I give you $5,000 now, and I give you the other $5,000 in 6 months." He said, "Didn't come to ask you for money, I came to visit." I said, "Well, we want to do this." So we wrote him a check for $5,000. And the next week, my office manager comes in and says, "Guess what, Dr. Clinner?" And I said, "What?" She said, "We got a bonus check from TennCare." We'd never gotten a bonus check from TennCare before. I said, "How much was it?" She said, $5,200. So the 6 months went by, and we mailed the second check. The next week, my office manager came in and says, "Guess what, Dr. Clinner? We got a second bonus check from TennCare." I said, "How much was it?" She said, $5,300. A little while after that, I was at church one day, and I heard a school board member telling someone that they had just put carpet in the halls of our church school, but the whole school needed carpet. I said, "How much would it cost to do the whole school?" So he called me back in a couple of days. He said $3,600. I said, "Well, go ahead, order the carpet and I'll pay for it." But the next week he said, "Tom, we think we're going to get that carpet for free, so we don't need your help." Well, right after that, my son comes home from school one day and he's complaining about how slow the computers are. So I called the IT person and I said, "How much would it cost to raise those computers up to a good speed?" So he called me back in a few days. He said $3,600. I said, "Okay, order the parts. When they come, I'll pay for them." Well, we kind of got carried away and we spent $6,000 on the computers. But right after we gave the $6,000, the school board member comes back and says, "Well, Tom, we're not going to be able to get that carpet for free, and that carpet's not available anymore, so if we do this, it's going to cost $6,000. So on the way home from church, I explained it to my wife. I said, "If we do this, we're going to be in a tithe for a while." She said, "You can't outgive God." So we committed to pay for the carpet for the school. After we gave the $6,000, the next week, my office manager came and says, "Guess what, Dr. Clinner? We got a third bonus check from TennCare." I said, "How much was it?" She said, $12,500. We gave $12,000 to the school so they could get new carpet and new computers. But God opened the windows of heaven and poured out for us the blessings that He had promised. Taste and see